Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, how are my snipers doing today? I hope you guys are doing fantastic. Listen, today we're going to be doing a overall market overview, right? We're going to be going over some of the coins. We're going to go over Bitcoin because listen, this week is actually very, very important. The reason why this week is important because of the global liquidity index. Historically, when we look, we have been right with these settings, right? We have been right with the global liquidity index settings. And, if things start changing, then the formula we had is no longer valid. So obviously we don't want that to happen. Now, if you don't know what the hell I'm talking about, we're just going to go over this very quickly, right? If we take it from the top of the global liquidity to the last top candle, it was 91 days. When we take it from the bottom to the last bottom, it was 91 days. When we take the top, right? When we take this top over here, right? Guess what? 91 days. When we take the bottom, it was 91 days. But guess what? The week after this, right? This up here is 91 days. So, even though it's not over, right? Even though this is being recorded on Friday and this will also be posted on Friday. So we still have a couple hours of Friday left. We still have the Saturday left and we still have the Sunday left. I really do want to see this candle go from bearish to bullish ultimately, right? That is what I want to see. So, at the moment, it does look good. It really does. Like if, for me, I know people are calling for 92K. I personally don't think so based off the analysis and all the data I see right now, based off the global liquidity. All right, I expect for us to be zooming, past these all-time highs sooner than later. Now, yes, fundamentally, going back to 92K would be a very, very nice retest because we can see there, us going back here, right? We would fill a stupid little gap. And ladies and gentlemen, right, we also would retest off of the most fundamental, biggest support that we've had in a very, very long time. But for me, these candles are very, very, very weak. Now, I will say, obviously, if we start getting something similar to what we had over here, then I would expect for us to just go lower at that point, right? But like I said, if we would be stalling out for another 2 or 3 more weeks anyways, then obviously something with the global liquidity indicator is not up to par anymore, right? It's not up to par because I did say before, and I still currently do expect this. I expect Bitcoin to be around 120K by, sometime in June, in mid-June, right? Maximum mid-June, it really should be around 120K according to the global liquidity charts. Now, here's the one positive thing before we dive into the altcoins is that, yes, this actually is the best bullish candle I've seen in many, many days. Yes, it's still not close, so we still will have to look at it to see how it closes, something we will cover on the stream. So if you guys are, available at 7 p.m. Eastern today, absolutely would love to see you. Don't know why I said it like that when this video is coming out at 8 p.m. Eastern. So yeah, but anyways, we do stream every day at 7 p.m. Eastern, and we're going to just be doing that for the rest of time. But we can see, ladies and gentlemen, we did take out the last relevant liquidity here. We swept it and we had a nice, big, big, big bull candle, right? The biggest one we've had, right? We haven't had anything this big since May of the 21st. So yeah, I do believe we will start flipping this. Once we do start flipping this trend line, we should go to all-time highs very quickly. And of course, then we should start breaking out. Probably would get something like this overall, one little fake out, and then actually burst up. So let's talk about altcoins, right? Altcoins in general, I do believe are going to start reversing sooner than later. Now, that doesn't mean they're going to be pumping all the way to the damn moon, but I do believe they are going to start slowly recovering again. We see Turbo, right? Turbo took out some of its last final, relevant liquidity, right? Filling up some of its imbalance, also going to its last relevant big major support, right? We are going to the major support. Actually, to correct this a little bit, this is a little bit more accurate. We can see we are already tapping into it, right? We are tapping into it. So that is perfect. When we go to something like Ethereum, right? Ethereum also took out some of its liquidity. It still technically doesn't have structure that indicates saying, hey, yeah, we are going to go up right away, but we are also holding on to a very relevant area, which I do ultimately believe this is going to be the accumulation, this zone over here, to then eventually push up higher, go from roughly, let's just say 2,500 to its next stage would be roughly, 2,900, and then from 2,900 to 3,300. Okay. When we go to something like ICP, right? ICP, I also believe, it is due for a pump. We broke out of this huge, right, narrow downwards, channel. We broke out of it. And yes, we are slowly going back down, but overall, we should start seeing some type of momentum looking to flip and switch, especially that I also do believe Bitcoin will too, right? We can see we are in another channel, right? When we take these tops and then let's just say these bottoms, but this channel is on top of this whole channel here. So I expect it to, again, burst to the upside. So there's many indications that's showing me that, hey, yeah, altcoins are going to start pumping soon. Ondo, right? Ondo tapped into its last relevant daily and weekly order block. So I expect this coin to start going up very, very aggressively over the next week. I expect a lot of these coins, in fact, to start going aggressively over the next week. You also have to remember when, when the markets create these narrow types of trends, they do it on purpose so it's easier to explode. And we can see with so many coins, there are that there's that type of structure, right? There is that type of structure. XDC it's a weird coin. We don't really cover it anymore. Of course, if you guys want more coverage, then we could always talk about it. We also do cover it in the Discord community. This coin has been on fire, ZBEC network, but ladies and gentlemen, we can see momentum is kind of weak. This is a little bit different. This coin's a little bit different context because it did just have a huge rally. I still expect this coin to do well, but it would not surprise me if we still see possible a little bit more pullbacks. I would need to see some break of structure to officially get confirmation that we will be heading up higher. But we can see, ladies and gentlemen, overall, right? Overall, everything is looking like it wants to burst up. Okay, right? Even something like KASPA, right? KASPA will be the final coin we talk about in this video. We say we broke down, but we also we took out the last monthly liquidity, right? And what happened the last time we took out the last monthly liquidity, right? We just barely took it out, and then we had a great, huge month. So I expect the same thing for KASPA. I really do, especially that the selling pressure ended up fairly weak. And yeah, ladies and gentlemen, that is it. I hope you guys did enjoy. If you want to join the Discord, highly recommend it. Now is the time to be fixing up your portfolios, getting locked in with the community, and being up to date with the markets. Love you guys so much, and I'll talk to you guys next time. Goodbye. Portfolio reviews, economic and global updates and news, frequent up-to-date technical analysis, and a very supportive community. Sell and buy calls and trading education is provided. If that sounds good to you, now is the time to act. Once the markets start moving, there is no I should have, coulda, woulda. Now is the time. If you want to take things to another level, we have the blueprint that covers everything from A to Z in crypto that you need. No fluff, no bullshit, just the most important news, fundamentals, and technicals to have you succeed in these markets.